This is just a short video clip on division by decimals. I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 questions for you to try. You can freeze the video and try them yourself if you're okay with this. If not, I'll show you how to do this. Right, so let's get started anyway. So I've got 10 divided by 5, right? So quite a simple thing to start with, but just to try to give you an overview of how we're going to approach the questions that are here. So 10 divided by 5, I could think of that as 10 divided by 5, okay? So the line in a fraction just showing that it's a division line. Right, and all I would do with that is, with the bottom number, I'll put that on the outside, I'll divide that into 10, and I'll get my answer. And I should get my answer of 2. So 5 into 10, 5 into 1 goes 0, carry the 1 over, 5 into the 10 goes 2. So my answer there is going to be 2. Right, so we're going to use this same approach with some of the rest of these questions that are here. And the more you get used to it, the more that you'll find your own shortcuts of how to work through this type of question. Right, so numbers here quite similar to up above in part A. So let's divide 10 by 0.5. So we're dividing 10 by a half, okay? So what I'll do is I'll just write it as 10 divided by 0.5. Now, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to try and get a whole number on the bottom, on the denominator. So an easy way to do that is to make an equivalent fraction. So what I'll do is I'm going to times the bottom by 10. So if I times that by 10, I move the decimal point to there, which gives me a 5. And if I times the bottom by 10, I can times the top by 10. And what I get is 100. So that gives me an equivalent fraction, but the good thing with that is I don't have any decimals in it, or there's no decimals on the denominator, which is more important. And what I can do then is I can just work out 5 divided into 100, and from there I can work out my answer. So 5 into 1 goes 0, and we'll carry the 1 over. 5 into 10 goes 2, and then 5 into 0 goes 0. So that'll give me 20. So that's quite weird. 10 divided by a half gives me 20. So one way I could think about it, which kind of gets a wee bit complicated, is how many halves are there in 10? So if I count how many halves there are in 10, I would come up with the answer of 20. Right, let's go ahead and we'll work through some of these questions with the same format as I'm going here. I'm going to go pretty quickly so that we don't waste too much time on the video. You can freeze the video, try the questions yourself and see if you get the right answer, okay? Or you can make them up in your calculator and see how you get on from there. Right, so I've got 3 divided by 0.6. So, as I say, that there is the exact same as what I'm asking there. 3 divided by 0.6. I'm going to times the bottom by 10, that'll give me 6 on the bottom, times the top by 10 gives me 30. 6 into 30 goes 5. I can do the working out if I want to, if I need to. If not, I can just go straight to the answer from there. Right, so I've got 140 divided by 0.2. So 140 divided by 0.2. What I'll do is I'll multiply the top and bottom by 10. So I can get into a habit of doing that. So 2 into 1400 will give me 700. Okay? And again, I can just show my working in the division sum if that's something that I need to do to make sure I'm getting the question right. Up to question E. Okay? So I know that what I'm doing is I'm going to try and get that into a whole number, the number I'm dividing by. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that by 10. That gives me 9. Multiply this one by 10. That gives me 27. So 27 divided by 9. How many 9s can I fit into 27? Will give me an answer of 3. Okay? Or I could have stated it the same way, 27 over 9. And that would have taken me to the answer of 3 as well. Okay, when I do it that way. Okay, so here we go. 3.6 divided by 0.4. So 3.6 divided by 0.4, or times the bottom by 10 gives me 4, times the top by 10 gives me 36. From there, 4 into 36 will give me an answer of 9. We've got 0.63 divided by 0.7. Okay, so same thing, same method. multiply the bottom by 10, that'll give me 7 on the bottom, multiply the top by 10 would give me 6.3. So I've still got a decimal, it's still a decimal on the top line, but that's okay as well, I can still handle that, as long as I don't have a decimal on the bottom, on the denominator. So what I'm going to be doing is 7 into 6.3, 7 into 6 goes 0, and I carry the 6 over, so I'll put a decimal point there. 7 into 63, well, that works out to be 9. So my answer there is 0.9 for that one there. At the bottom here, I've got 4.278 divided by 0.03. I'm going to use the same type of format. The only difference here is my denominator. To get it to a whole number, I'm going to have to move the decimal point 2 places. So what I'll be doing is I'll be timesing it by 100. So what that would give me is 4.278 all over 0.03. If I times it by 100, what I'll get is 3 on the bottom. If I times that by 100, times the top by 100, moving the decimal point 2 places, I've got 427.8. Okay. I could then go and try and work that out on my own in that way, or I can just start getting a division set up going like this one here. Right, so let's divide this one out. So 3 into 4 goes 1, carry 1. 3 into 12 goes 4 times. No carry. 3 into 7 is going to go twice with 1 carrying over, and 3 into 18 is going to go 6, and I'm going to make sure that my decimal point is clearly visible. So that's 142.6. So that's 8 of the questions completed so far. Okay, we'll look at some long division with decimals included. So let's have a look at the 4 other questions that are here. Okay, so I'm going to try and use the same methodology as we used above. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make sure the number that I'm dividing by is a whole number. So what I've got here is 144 divided by 1.2. So if I multiply that by 10, I get 12 on the bottom. Multiply this by 10, I get 1,440. So I could just divide that by 12, which would work out for me. 12 into 1, 440. So 12 into 1 goes 0. 12 into 14 will go once, and I'll carry 2 over. And 12 into 24 is going to give me 2. And then I've got a 0 there, because 12 into the 0 gives me 0. So my answer is going to be 120. If I was dividing by 12, remember, if I find that quite awkward, what I can do is I can divide that number here by 3 first of all, and then divide it by 4. As long as I'm splitting 12 up into 2 numbers that multiply together to get it. Not 10 and 2, because that would be like dividing by 20. Right, so same method I'm going to use here. So what we've got is 291.2 all over 1.3. I'm going to multiply the bottom by 10, I'll get 13, multiply the top, and I get 2912. Right, so I'm going to do the division. So 13 into 2912. I can use my long division technique that I've got created the video for earlier, or I can just try and work it through because it's a simpler number. 13 into 2 goes 0. Carry the 2, 13 into 29 will go twice, and it will make 26, so I've got 3 left over. 13 into 31 will go twice again, and I've got, let's see what we got there, so that's 31. It's going to make 26, so that's going to be 5 left over. And when I do 13 into 52, I'll get 4, because that'll be on the times table. Or what I could have done is written down the 13 times table just down here, and that would have helped me out. So that'd be 26, that'd be 39, and so on. Right, so let's do the last 2 questions here. Right, so I'm going to multiply, I can see the decimal points there, I'm going to multiply by 10, and what I'll get is 24. So I'll be dividing this number here by 24. So what we've got is 0.768 divided by 2.4. First of all, I'm going to multiply by 10, which gives me 24 on the bottom, and I get, no we don't, let me rub that in out. So if I multiply that by 10 at the top, what I'm going to get is move the decimal point from there into there. So that will be 7.68. So that's the number I'm going to divide. So 24 on the outside, and I'll divide that into 7.68. Okay? Right, so 24 into 7, so I'm going to put a 0 up there because I'm going to get my decimal point in, and what I'll do is I'll carry over the 7 to here. 24 into 76, so I could think about my 24 times table. So I've got 24, I've got 48, then 24 onto that's going to give me 72, and then 24 onto that's going to give me 96. Okay, so there's 4 of them so far, so that might be enough for this question. If not, I'll just add to it as we go along. Right, so I've got 76, so there's 72, which is 3 times, so it's 72, and that's going to give me a 4 to carry over to here. Then 24 into 48, well that's twice, and there's my final answer. So my answer is going to be 0.32 for that question there. Right, so what we're doing is we're going to be dividing by 24 again here, I can see. I'm going to move the decimal point 2 places, so I'll move this decimal point 2 places as well. Right, so to get that moved, 1, 2, so that's going to give me 24. To get that moved 2 places, that's going to give me 0.288 divided by 24. Okay, so all I've done is the equivalent fraction again and worked it through from there. Let's go. So divide this by 24. 24 into 0.288. Okay. Right, so 24 into 0 goes 0. Get my decimal point in. So 24 into 2 goes 0. I'll carry 2 over. 24 into 28 will go once, and I'm going to carry 4 over. 24 into 48 goes twice, and there's my final answer, 0.012. Okay, so this was just a quick video just to look at dividing by decimals, dividing decimals by decimals, and hopefully it's helped you understand how to go forward and do this type of question.